is, can we assure ourselves that our students know all these writers together? Can we assure ourselves that we know all the writers together? If that is, it gives a negative answer, we should enrich ourselves and our students as well through such kind of interactions. And I hope your attempts will certainly inspire and boost us to carry something back when we could reach, to our colleges. And with this, I thank you once again and wish you a very good luck for your next activity. And one more thing I would like to add, to this, after which I will conclude, that I have never seen such a crowd at the valedictory function. I don't know what the magic this couple has, but at the valedictory function there is always a chance of meeting very limited number of participants, and this is very uncommon. And it is because you are uncommon, and you have made a group around you with the culture you have developed of your own, and hope that you will give us that magic, share that magic with us, so that we can enrich ourselves too. Thank you very much.
There is a very special felicitation after this, and there will be only 2 items on my agenda over here. Before going to announce that one, I request Mr. Om Prakash Sharma, the caterer, to please come on the dais and receive your felicitation at the hands of E. Katrina ma'am, and it will be an international honor to you. श्री ओम प्रकाश शर्मा यांचा सत्कार या ठिकाणी संपन्न होतोय आणि कॅटरीना मॅडमच्या हस्ते मुद्दामहून त्यांचा सत्कार या ठिकाणी आयोजित केलेला आहे. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच मॅडम. थँक्स. And he is the caterer. He is the caterer who served the food. The sun unasked offer life to us, the moon unasked makes the lilies to bloom. The clouds unasked showers rain on the earth. Similarly, having unasked, the great men are always in the service of humanity, and they are always on their own accord. One of such person is Principal Dr. D.R. More, who is contributing to the fields of academic and administration in various capacities. I request him to deliver the valedictory address.
The president of this valedictory function of this International Conference on South Asian Literature and Culture, our friend, Dean Faculty of Arts, Solapur University, Dr. N.B. Pawar, Miss E. Katrina ma'am, Dr. Pandhare, Head of Department of SI College, Pune, my beloved students, of whom I am very much proud of, Mr. and Mrs. Nikam, their family members from both the sides, my dear friends, fellow delegates, faculty coming from various parts of the country, ladies and gentlemen, forget about the exaggeration made by the comparer. I am a very simple man, and in a very few minutes I will give my speech. When right from the morning, yesterday we couldn't make it because we had some problems there in our university. Student council elections were to be held yesterday, and all the 3 districts, especially the principals, being the principal and 2 of my colleagues also being the principals. We couldn't make it yesterday, so today we came here. As soon as we came here, we realized that yesterday you must have received a very good information about this South Asian literature and culture. Today also I attended the paper reading session in the morning. I listened to some papers, 2 plenary sessions in which the ma'am began with the 3 lines of Kamla Das, and she said Kamla Das dreams in one language. That is her mother tongue. And I always ask my students, advise my students, start seeing dreams also in English. We see dreams in our mother tongue. But when I was doing my PhD on the theme of partition in the 90s, I could see all the activities happening in the then partition affected area in my dream. So when you become one with your mission, one with your study, one with your project, one with your area of research, you forget everything. And you yourself become the topic of the project or the study. So that devotion and dedication is shown by 2 of my students, Mr. and Mrs. Lee, when they came to me some 8-9 years back to Kolhapur. They had joined one college there, Gokhale College, the name of the college, as lecturers in English. At that time, we were unknown strangers to one another. But then they came to me with some reference, and they became one with me. And that has been going on right from the first day till this moment. So really I am proud of this pair, this couple. I am very much proud of them because they have begun with their career in this area with international seminar, international conference. Generally we begin with state level, regional level, university level, national level. But they have begun with international level, and this is wonderful. Because as a principal, I have organized more than 100 conferences and seminars and workshops, and I know the parents and pains behind this. Well, we have the backing of our colleges, our staff members, our teaching, non-teaching, other these teachers. But here, only these 2 have accomplished this, not the greatest, I say, Herculean task. And that's why I said that I love such students. So with this love and affection, I came here, and in fact I was not prepared for anything. But when Sark literature, about Sark literature we say, you must have heard yesterday first one, there is the foundation in Sark. When Sark countries, they started reacting with each other in the 1980s with the initiative taken by Mujibur Rahman, the president of Bangladesh. In the beginning, the cooperation was in the field of education, technology, agriculture, financial matters, educational matters, and up to some extent, political matters. But education, literature, culture came on the agenda of SARC very late. The establishment of SARC was in the 80s, and in 1987, they set up this foundation. They established this foundation of SARC writers and literature. That is first one, FOSWAL, foundation of sharp writers and literature. And in this foundation, writers from all the 7 and the 8 later joined Afghanistan. 8 countries, they started participating, interacting with each other. South Asian region is said to be financially very poor, thickly populated. In case of literature, we see, keep aside India, which is very rich in literary traditions, literature even in Indian writing in English. What is the scenario of the other countries when this was set up? In 1947, India was partitioned in India and Pakistan. Bangladesh came into existence in 1971, but before that it was also a part of Pakistan. At that time, when India had so many writers, even before partition, India had so many writers. We know very well that the first novel in Indian writing in English was written in 1864. In the morning, somebody said, Dr. Ashok Thorat said, that the first 3 universities were set up in India in 1857. What was the necessity? Why did the English people set up these universities only in India and not in other countries? Because almost all the countries, they were under the British rule. It was said that sun never sets on British Empire. Then why British could establish or set up these 3 universities only in India, Mumbai, Calcutta and Madras? Why India is making very steady, fast progress? Why we are seeing the dreams of becoming superpower, going ahead of America in all respects? Because we see the strategy of the Indians. The social reformers who were born in India, especially in Bengal. I would like to tell you one incident when in 1813, exactly 200 years back, the British government sanctioned a grant of 1 lakh of rupees for the promotion of Sanskrit and Urdu language. 1 lakh of rupees 200 years back for the promotion of Sanskrit and English and Urdu languages. At that time, it was Raja Ram Mohan Roy from Bengal, the first person from Bengal who protested. He said, why you are giving this grant to Sanskrit and Urdu for the promotion of Sanskrit? So what is the use of Urdu and Sanskrit for us to march ahead? Instead of giving this grant to Urdu to run the madrasas or this Sanskrit with universities, it's you give us Western education. That was the demand in 1813, 14 up to 23. Give us education in science and technology. Give us education in medicine and homeopathy. Give us education in modern sciences, everything that is modern. In a word, he said, show us the light of the West. Don't push us back into the back ages, dark ages, by giving grant to Sanskrit and Urdu. With the visionary Raja Ram Mohan Roy was born in Bengal, and he dared in those days to speak against Sanskrit and Urdu and appeal the British government, if really you want to make the progress of India, if really you want to develop India into an advanced developed country, then give us the Western education. And then somebody remarked in the morning, Macaulay's minutes came there. Along with Macaulay's minutes, there came the 3 universities. And what was the situation in the 3 universities in those days? Only 27 colleges in all over India. 3 universities and 27 colleges. And some 1,000 or 100,000 boys, students taking education. In 1947, when India became free, at that time there were 20 universities in the university, 20 universities in India and some 500 colleges. Today we have more than 660 universities, more than 36,000 colleges in which crores of students are taking it. Credit of this goes back to Rajaram Mohan Rai and British government, who started English medium schools and colleges and started giving education in science and technology and all these things. And that's why I can again and again say thanks to the British people that they came in India. We drove them out. But then the visionary people, the authors, they said thanks to the British people that they came in India. Well, this was happening in India. What is the condition of the SAARC nations? I told in 1987, for the first time, when after the partition of India, not a single author could go to Pakistan. Not any single author came from Pakistan to India till 2000. In one of the SAARC conferences, for the first time, one Indian author went to Pakistan and one Pakistani author came to India to participate in these conferences. And what they said, they said, we are the mad dreamers. The quotation I quote, we are the mad dreamers of the SAARC region. Let governments do their political and diplomatic work. Even today that is going on. That will go on. They must play their roles. And so the writer said, let governments do their political and diplomatic work. Let us, is the writers, let us, the writers and the creative fraternity of the region, endeavor to create bridges of the friendship across borders and beyond borders. This was the declaration of 2000 resolution. This was the resolution of the SAARC. Writers, they didn't bother about the countries, boundaries. They said, let us come together and write and let us prepare the bridges between the two nations. Then why somebody spoke about Pakistan, somebody spoke about Sri Lanka, somebody spoke about Nepal, somebody about Afghanistan. So all these what is the real condition, what is the real situation in these countries of their literature in terms of English writing? Lahore University in those days, in the days of British, Lahore University was considered as the Oxford of the East. Oxford of the East. What is the situation of Lahore University today? What is the situation of Pakistan today? And what is the situation that we see in India in all walks of life? In literature, we have won 5 to 6 Booker Prizes. Our writers. Equivalent to Nobel Booker Prizes. And one is Booker of Bookers. Means India is marching ahead in such a speed that the other countries, which are very, very smaller in size, minuscule you can call, Maldives like. What is the situation in these countries? Mukta Mahajan ma'am gave some areas of research. A number of areas she gave of research. I think in the 70s or before 70s, when we were students taking education in University, Shivaji University, Colombo, at that time there was a paper for MA, one paper, European Classics. European Classics, the paper was taught for 10 to 15 years. Why not start this SAARC paper? Why not this SAARC paper started in, at least to begin with, in 1 or 2 universities. In Kathmandu already, in 1 universities, they have